One sentence that everyone keeps saying, even when I read about Sabyasachi for the first time, was every bride wants to be a Sabyasachi bride.
It's so true to what he decided to start back in the day, 1999, and bring the Indian culture to the West. Not gonna lie, I'm fascinated about the brand. I think, which is fascinating, how he can keep his brand consistent throughout every industry, every marketing channel he touches.
That's true. I think achievements of his is like recognition, as you say, that starts with partnerships, right from naming the brands like Saks, Bergdorf Goodman, Christian Louboutin, Selfridges, Estee Lauder, H&M.
Not to mention Starbucks, Pottery Barn.
Yeah, first fashion designer to walk down the Met Gala carpet, celebrity clientele.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of JSTM Marketing, a podcast where we analyze a brand, a campaign, a story. And I have Prachi with me. She's a luxury consultant. I'm Andre, a marketing strategy consultant. And today we're going to talk about Sabyasachi. Sabyasachi was founded in 1999 with the dream to become the biggest Indian luxury house. So Prachi, where do we start?
It's a very difficult question, actually, about as to where we begin with Sabyasachi. There's too much to talk about, but we can start with his inspiring story. He was a middle class boy from Bengal, which is a place in India. He was just extremely fascinated with textiles and designs and fabrics, and so against all odds, he just went and he got an admission in NIFT. Which is a fashion technology college in India. He just started his journey from then. I think it cannot get any better because he started really small, and from there he went to getting an internship in London. He went from there to getting an internship in, I think, with foremost one of the research assistants in Victoria and Albert Museum. From winning the Femina, the Newcomer Designer of the Year award, to becoming the anonymous luxury label to what he is right now. And I think one sentence that everyone keeps saying, even when I read about Sabyasachi for the first time, was every bride wants to be a Sabyasachi bride. So that's a new thing. Back then it was a very new thing for me. But Andre, you just read about the brand. You just read about the man and his vision and his dream. So I would love to know your thoughts about what you read and how do you like it.
Yes. So as you know, I didn't know about the brand before we were having our meeting to decide what we're going to talk about on the podcast moving forward, the second season and so on. And I'm not going to lie, I'm fascinated about the brand. I think it's so true to what he decided to start back in the day, in 1999, and bring the Indian culture to the West. Because when you look his story and how the brand basically started from where it was to where it is now, he thought there was a market gap. And again, it's all going back to marketing strategy, right? Marketing research and everything. So he understood there was a gap. There was a lack of awareness for Indian luxury clothing history in West. So in the Western world, right? And he then decided to start. So when you look his designs, I mean, I'm by no means a fashion person, but when you look at the designs and you see the brand, it's so fascinating how he incorporates the Indian tradition history into his products. I just don't want to jump too forward ahead, but when you look at partnerships, you can still see the brand. It doesn't matter in which industry he goes, which is fascinating how he can keep his brand consistent throughout every industry, every marketing channel he touches.
That's true. I think just to name a few achievements of his is like recognition, as you say, that starts with partnerships, right from naming the brands like Saks, Bergdorf Goodman, Christian Louboutin, Selfridges, Estee Lauder, H&M.
Not to mention Starbucks, Pottery Barn, which is not, you wouldn't expect a luxury clothing brand partnership with Starbucks.
It's just his PR team, or the man in general has his vision so clear that even if he partners with any other brand, you still feel that his motives, because his inspiration has been anything that is an inspiration from an Indian culture. It could be motives, it could be florals, it could be saving animals for that reason, which leads me to explaining the logo that he decided. He comes from Bengal, which is known for their tigers, and in our culture, especially in Hindu culture, it's said that if you have a tiger as an emblem, it represents to Ma Durga, which is a goddess. So he has just tried and showcased that tiger in his every element. It could be on his belt. It's such a small logo, like it's this much, but it can go anywhere, on his sari, on his belt. And when a woman wears that, she automatically feels that she's powerful, or she's the another version of Ma Durga, or the goddess Ma Durga. So I think that is one of his plus points. First fashion designer to walk down the Met Gala carpet. Celebrity clientele. Every bride was a Sabyasachi bride. He changed his perspectives. He was always known for his rich red, which comes from Bengal, the color. But he designed for luxury clientele, and he changed his perception about, I'm not just about reds. I'm also about florals. I'm also about pinks. So it's never certain. He's always been ahead of his game, like way ahead of his game.
When you think being ahead of your game in a luxury market in India, of course, that comes with a lot of challenges.
It does, yeah.
So do you think Sabyasachi managed to insert his brand into... He saw the challenge, but he didn't change his product. He kept true to what he wanted to do, regardless of what people would say about his product and brand?
Yes, I think he did. I'm not saying that he did not face challenges. I'm not saying that he was not criticized. Sometimes his designs were too bold for a market like India. So, for example, a deep neckline, if we could portray it in one way or the other. There are going to be people who don't approve of every design of his. But that didn't stop him. And I think that was clever on his part to come on the social media and then to apologize for the sentiments that he has heard through his designs indirectly. But that didn't make him stop his designs. That didn't make him say that, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to discontinue that. He portrayed that same thing in such a different way with glares on a woman's face to show that it's powerful. That's when he entered a lot of segments. He does menswear, he does accessories, he does footwear and everything. But in every segment that you see, it has those kind of motives and bohemian and a very exotic theme, if we can take that into account. But at the same time, Andre, I feel that now he has introduced too many segments. So that can be a bit challenging to know what is Sabyasachi actually known for. Now looking at it, at first I knew that he's famous into his luxury bridal wear. But as time passed by, I got confused myself as to what is he known for. Is he known for his jewelry? Is he known for his lipsticks? What was the one thing that he was known for? So I think that is also a big challenge for him to maintain all these segments and still to maintain a brand personality. So yeah, but recently on Statista, Andre, this brand is like 3 billion INR. Did 3 billion INR in 2023. It's recently taken over by Aditya Birla Fashion Group, which is they bought like 51% of stake in the designer brand for 398 crore. That's in INR. So as for the financials, Sabyasachi, who's from Calcutta, he posted a turnover at around 229.42 crore, which rose to 343.86 crores in 2023. So the brand is just on and on with these numbers, and I don't think there is stopping for him, is it?
No,
but
especially with this kind of expanding to new industries, new market, different interactions with brands, and making with the H&M partnership, the H&M collaboration, you open your product to a wider audience. So people that followed him but couldn't afford, now they can have a piece, right? Or people that didn't know about the brand, now they know. So I think moving forward is a really clever way to keep expanding because Sabyasachi has only like 4 or 7 stores. I think 5 in India, 1 in Dubai, and 1
New
in New
York,
York.
yeah.
It is limited, especially when you look who are the countries that spend the most in luxury clothing. We're talking about Italy, we're talking about France, and surprisingly, we're talking about South Korea,
Yeah. No, yeah.
which for me was a
Completely.
completely
Surprise. Yeah.
surprise. Correct.
For sure, for sure. I think in terms of, I think what marketers can learn through Sabyasachi is one thing that he did not shy away to put forth his values. He did not shy away to say that this is what I believe in, this is what I want to, where I want to take my brand. I am not going to, he didn't listen to the chaos that was happening around him. He just ignored all of those facts and he just kept going and going. I think he's one person who talks about grit, the power of perseverance that you have to reach your long-term goals. So I think that's what he stood by that himself. And one thing I've learned from him as a marketer, that he has those CSR values communicated extremely strong. For example, saving the endangered species. It could be work for elephants. It could be work for tigers. Like executing those animal prints on it's his fabrics and designs. Save for saris, love for saris that he introduced with the entry level product of 1,800 rupees just so that people can buy. I think these are the few CSR initiatives for animal love that he does, and the good thing is that he communicates and he promotes it in such a huge way, Andre, that even though you don't know about it, you still become aware because of the promotion he does and the capture, the hold of social media.
The social media are incredible to look. It's such a beautiful, aesthetic looking designs, right? But there's only one thing I kind of feel a little bit, they need to improve here, right? They have over 5 million followers, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying for them to reply to everybody.
Right.
However, they could interact a little bit more on the social. So just some sort of interaction, reply to a comment, put an engaging content there, and make people feel heard, make people feel seen. Because at the end of the day, you need those followers to interact with you, to buy from you, to be your brand ambassador, talk about your brand and whatnot.
I agree. I won't deny this because firstly, they don't have just Sabyasachi page. They have brides of Sabyasachi. They have grooms of Sabyasachi. There's a very interesting page called Diet Sabya as well, who posts everything about fashion and what he does and what he not. But I agree to the fact that there is no interaction on the social media, and they have to take into account that e-commerce is the next thing. So they have to go more deep into it. I agree.
Yeah. But it is a beautiful brand to look. It is a beautiful brand story to read about. I was fascinated by it.
Yeah.
So, Prachi, shall we do a quick swap?
Yes, we can do a SWOT. I think if I start with strengths, I think heritage is one of his strongest point. Heritage and history, luxury clientele, like always celebrity clientele on top of it. That is again one of his top strengths. Very value driven and emotional connect. Again, there are literally videos of brides unpackaging the Sabyasachi lehenga. YouTube, his story, social media is his thing because he explains his journey so well. He takes you through his studio, so there's an engagement there. I think weaknesses, again, as I said, that he has too many segments. So that is one thing that they're not able to capture every segment in the best possible way, or for some reason that's not communicating to us well. So I think that is one of the weakness. And again, price point. But again, he is targeting a luxury clientele, so fair enough on that part. But if he is looking for expansion and if he looks to collaborate with brands like H&M, he can do more of entry-level products. So do you want to share some opportunities and threats?
Yeah, sure. So one of the opportunities I was going to talk about, you already mentioned, which is an expansion to different markets through partnerships. It is a cost-effective and very effective way, actually, to enter new markets. Instead of Sabyasachi just going and open a new store at, I don't know, Regent Street or Oxford Circus, they can have several locations, partnership with H&M. So it is, and then I would look definitely on the other high expenditure countries, luxury, some of those lines that people are already consuming your product. Not so much Sabyasachi, but they consume luxury. So I would take it as an opportunity to look into that. Threats, the economy worldwide, the insecurity around what's going to happen. Unfortunately, there's wars going on, and that affects money everywhere. And so people need to be conscious about spending. Don't know the inflation going to go up, going to go down, do I spend more or less, and that affects everybody. And when you talk about luxury, again, we have to be careful with counterfeited items, fake items, and those cheap from countries where it is kind of harmful to the brand. We've seen that happen quite a lot in Brazil with brands such as Lacoste or Oakley. They lost market share and they lost market value because of the counterfeited items, because you don't want to be associated with an item that it's not a legitimate real one.
I agree. This is a huge threat, especially for luxury, because it's known for their craftsmanship. It's craftsmanship preservation. It's an artist preservation. It's just there are lot of emotions attached to how a craftsman is building or sewing or it's handmade. When you say it's handmade, there are a lot of things attached to just thread weaving. So there's a lot of emotions that go, and when it's affected by a thing like counterfeit, it just doesn't come across really well. So I completely agree. And going back to when you said, Andre, market research, there's this theory of how do you research about an information. It could be internal factors, it could be external, it could be ongoing involvement, specific interest. So I think all these target points this brand is trying to capture, because again, luxury is anti-laws of marketing. They won't market it in a regular way, but just need to be a tad bit careful of how can you still maintain that kind of paucity that I still don't have access to this brand paucity. So that's when I think I'm going to take you to the store. You have to come to India, and I'm going to take you to the Mumbai store where you're going to experience the utmost amount of attribute priming, where you're going to smell the roses from Bengal as soon as you enter their store.
That sounds good. I'm up for it. Let's go. And that's something we talked about already. Visiting you in India and you taking me everywhere. I can't wait for that.
Oh my God, yeah. I think we're gonna record all that. I'm gonna record your first reaction when you go to the store.
Let's do it. I love it.
Nice.
Cool. I think this episode has come to an end. It was, for me personally, really inspiring to research and discover such a significant brand for the Indian luxury market that brings the values, bring tradition, and bring a strong sense of purpose. I'm completely blown away by it, as you can tell.
I'm glad. I think because of you, I also got to research more about it, and just proud to be coming from a place where he designs. And I don't think I've been able to do justice as to what all he still does and not, but just tried as much as we can. So I hope you all enjoyed, and please do subscribe. If you have any questions, please shout out through comments, and we'll hit a reply. And we'll see you in the next episode.